Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee?
I will send thee one by one. Well, one was a itty-bitty baby,
In swaddling clothing, lying in a manger, born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee?
I will send thee 2 by 2. Well, 2 was the Paul and Silas. Well, 1 was a itty-bitty baby,
In swaddling clothing, lying in a manger, born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee?
Will send me 3 by 3. Well, 3 were the 3 kings riding.
Well, 2 was the Paul and Silas. Well, 1 was a itty-bitty baby,
In swaddling clothing, lying in a manger, born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee?
I will send thee 4 by 4. Well, 4 was the 4 coming knocking at the door.
Well, 3 were the 3 kings riding.
Well, 2 was the Paul and Silas. Well, 1 was a itty-bitty baby,
In swaddling clothing, lying in a manger, born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee?
I will send thee 5 by 5. Well, 5 was the gospel preacher.
well, 4 was the 4 coming knocking at the door.
Well, 3 were the 3 kings riding.
Well, 2 was the Paul and Silas. Well, 1 was a itty-bitty baby,
In swaddling clothing, lying in a manger, born in Bethlehem.
Welcome to Wellspring Wednesday. It is the season of Advent. And Advent makes me think about candles. It makes me think about candles because when I was young in church, we had Advent candles for every Sunday prior to Christmas. And so each Sunday before Christmas, we would light one candle, and that was a great way to cut down on that waiting time, or to mark that waiting time as we got to Christmas. Now at home, what we have is Advent calendars. And Advent calendars, if you're familiar with what those are the month of December. Every day there's a window you open up as we get closer and closer to Christmas. And we still do that at home. And as a matter of fact, each of us at home has at least 2 of these calendars. And it's really a good way to mark that time. That makes me think about the way we mark time when we're waiting. And it also makes me think about how we feel about that time when we're waiting. How long will this take? Is the time going fast? Is the time going excruciatingly slow? Can I handle the time? When is it halfway? Is it good waiting? How do I feel about it? Well, hopefully we can take this time and take enough time to gather and worship together. Come.
Whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of Eden, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, come,
Each week we ask Unity families to share their joys and sorrows, concerns, blessings, gifts, and challenges with us over email so that we can bring the real stories of our lives into this place, so we can celebrate together, give each other support, and hold on to each other in love. This week we ask the families with 7th graders to share what is on their hearts and minds in this season of Advent. From the Sanders and Hegman family, Ramona, Sylvia, Erica, Adrian. One joy from our family is that we're expecting a new baby cousin in February. From the Borgerding and McDermott family, Eli, Lily, Jennifer, and Tony. We are joyful for the warmer weather and the chance to get outside for summer activities like skateboarding and baseball in December. Our sorrow is for the darkness coming before 5 o'clock and staying past 7 a.m. and how tired the limitations due to COVID sometimes make us. From 7th grader Nina LaFurla. My joys are rewatching the Barbie movies I loved when I was little. My sorrows, distance learning, not being able to see my friends. From 7th grader Wes Hendel. I was happy to drive around and look at Christmas lights, and I was sad that COVID cases keep rising. From Denise Aldrich. I am joyful that our 2 boys, Will and Robert, who have been getting on each other's nerves as we are together for endless hours in the house, enjoyed a few minutes together this past week without bickering. I am worried about my friend Elizabeth, who went to see her doctor and has a growth in her lung, which might be nothing to worry about or could be something dangerous. She will go back to the doctor so they can make a decision about what comes next. Will Aldrich adds, I am joyful about having saved the money for a complete set of computer parts and that I was able to build a whole computer, and it works. I'm sad about still being unable to see my friends in person because of the pandemic. And from Merrill, I am so happy about the news of a vaccine coming and that our healthcare workers, hopefully, may be protected from the virus soon. I am happy and sad about learning a little about the life of Peter Langsetmo, who we memorialized here at church this past weekend, and who had such an interesting life. From Paige, Claire, and Laura Duke Lundgren. Our joys, excited for Christmas, the family bonfire we had last night with s'mores, and also the gift exchange with neighbor kids. Our sorrows, we can't make Christmas cookies with Grandma like we do every year. Also no school and no gymnastics. From Callum Schultz, also in 7th grade, my joy is that we decorated our Christmas tree, which was fun. My sorrow is that our dog died, and this leaves a hole in my heart. From the Bear Benson family, Violet, Abe, Jane, and Brad. Joys from our family are that our brothers, the oldest 2 kids, are coming home soon and will be back under one roof, all of us. A joy that our oldest brother and son is out of isolation from having COVID, and he feels great. Our sorrows are that Violet shares online school is hard and annoying. And the family finished Avatar: The Last Airbender series of movies, and now Brad will miss watching it with the 4 of us in Minnesota. And a sorrow that we will not be able to travel to see our grandparents and other family members in December, and it may still be many months before we can. From 7th grader Ariel Hansen. It is a joy that my family is not at each other's throats during so much of this time together. It is also a joy that we have our cat, Kara, who brings us all kinds of joy and is amazing. From 7th grader Ezra St. Marie, my joy is I get to spend time with my family. My sorrow is I'm super cold. From the Scott Gustafson family, Seda, Finley, Jeff, and Angie. Our sorrow, we have had to make the decision to not travel to be with extended family over Christmas, which will be a first. Our joy is we are healthy, especially husband and dad, who is a paramedic. That we are together and love each other so well, and that we went for the big tree, 12-footer, to fill our living room this year. From the Nagel and Burnett family, Hope, Skylar, Courtney, and Scott, we were very happy for the lovely weather this past Saturday. It gave us an opportunity to get outside of the house and not feel so cooped up. And it is also a great joy that we say it is Ray's birthday. What are they, like 18 now, 19? Happy birthday, Ray. And would you join me in prayer? Spirit, so many joys and sorrows, so much humanity, so much experience. Let us all feel all of that is going on for us, all of our joys, all of the things that make us happy and give us hope, all of the things that hurt, make us feel human, make us desperate, make us afraid. Let us feel it. Let's feel it all together and know that we are together, that we are waiting in this time, together in love and support. Be so. Amen. Join us in singing. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
Friends, we live from day to day, where seconds turn into minutes, and we mark our minutes as they turn into hours, hours that turn into days, that turn into weeks, that turn into months and years, and we mark our calendars. This is how we mark time. But there are moments that are the right moment, that are the opportune moments, that are ripe moments when something completely unexpected and surprising happens. Those are moments that are not easy to mark on our weekly calendars and schedules. And yet, when I think about this season of Advent, about this waiting time, we are listening, we are watching and paying attention. In Germany, in 1989, the Brandenburg Gate in the Berlin Wall was opened for the first time in 28 years. No one expected that that could happen. What had happened was that there were a series of civil uprisings and protests and revolutions happening in Europe, especially in Poland and Hungary, as communist regimes and governments began to topple. And Germany, that had been divided during the Cold War, and Berlin, that had been divided into East and West by that wall that separated families and friends and communities. In Berlin, that revolution and civil uprising started to take hold. And people started to climb up on the walls. And met by people on the western side of that wall. And before anyone could have predicted There were people moving back and forth, embracing strangers, weeping and laughing and dancing with loved ones that they had not seen or embraced in 28 years. Leonard Bernstein of the New York Philharmonic was asked to come and conduct an international orchestra to culminate that joyous and festive and unexpected miracle of a moment. There were no words for this moment, this beautiful moment, said Lenny Bernstein, and I couldn't say no. And so Bernstein came to direct an international orchestra in East Berlin. An orchestra made up of musicians from West Germany and East Germany and the four occupying powers at the end of World War II: Great Britain, France, the Soviet Union, and the United States. And as Bernstein listened to that moment in time, to that ripe moment in history, he and other leaders decided that they were going to perform Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, mostly because of the fourth movement that has the human chorus, the voices of people joining together in singing the words of Schiller's poem, "Joyful, joyful, we adore thee." But Bernstein, a Jew, conducting an all-German orchestra in the land of the Holocaust, decided to change the word joyful to freedom. Freedom, freedom, we adore thee. And an interviewer asked Leonard Bernstein, Mr. Bernstein, by what authority do you have the right to change the words of Beethoven and Schiller? And Bernstein, without missing a beat, answered, by the authority of this moment. You see, Bernstein knew how to listen, not just because he was a fabulous musician, but as a Jew who knew about the Holocaust, who knew the history of Germany, as a Jew who would soon be awarded the Star of the People's Friendship by the leaders of East Berlin, East Germany, he knew that 50 years earlier, he probably would have been wearing a yellow star that all Jews were forced to wear, marking them as Jews. You see, Bernstein knew how to listen to time. That it wasn't just paying attention to calendars and weeks and days, but he knew how to listen to the spirit of time. By the authority of this moment, answered Leonard Bernstein, do I change the word joyful to freedom? And with that, Leonard Bernstein took up the conductor's baton and he directed the musicians. And in the fourth movement, when the chorus of human voices began to sing, everyone in the audience inside, and because it was televised, the audience worldwide joined voices together, singing, Freedom, freedom, we adore thee. As people listened and they saw each other as brothers and sisters and family and friends, as members of a human community, stepping into a new time together. May it be so, and amen. Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, God of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, hail thee as the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the pain of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the joy of day. Freedom, freedom, we adore thee, God of glory, God of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, hail thee as the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the pain of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the joy of day. As we step further and further into this season of Advent waiting, we are not just counting the days and the weeks. We are not just tracking the hours and minutes. We are listening. Listening for the movement of the Spirit, calling us to a new imagination of how we can be together as a human community, dreaming of that vision of a world that is the beloved community. May that dream ache in our hearts and keep us